Ladies and gentlemen, I'm KageKaze here to let you know that the Humble Bundle has returned once again. Only this time, the Humble Bundle has brought with it some big guns. This time, we're not looking at a Humble Indie Bundle, no, we are looking at the Humble THQ Bundle. This time around, you can order 7 different games from the publisher THQ. The money you donate here will be split across the publisher THQ, the charities Child's Play and American Red Cross, as well as the Humble team that's responsible for putting these packages together. Unlike previous bundles, since this is not an indie bundle and this is available only on Steam, this bundle requires a minimum of $1 purchase. However, for that $1, you can get 6 games from the excellent THQ library, and if you meet the average balance, which as of this recording is about $5.64, you can also get an additional title. So let's look at the bundle. Unfortunately, none of these games have I really played, but they all are fairly well-known titles that have each gotten a lot of good publicity. At least from what I've seen online. We're looking at Darksiders as the first title on the list. I have purchased Darksiders 2 and I am loving it immensely. Darksiders 2 is a fantastic game with wonderful combat. It has Zelda-like exploration as well as power unlocks and progression. Darksiders may not have the same quality of combat as Darksiders 2. But both games do share a similarity to spectacular fighters such as Devil May Cry or God of War. I would have kin Darksiders more to early Devil May Cry titles, whereas Darksiders 2 has the refinement of later ones, so there is a definite progression there. Both games are fun to play, though I've only played a little bit of the first title so far. I would still give it a high recommendation, aside from the fact that the PC port is not that great, including lack of rebindable controls, at least from what I could see. Moving on, the next game on the list is Metro 2033, a first-person shooter slash survival horror, from what I understand, that seems to have gotten fairly good reviews. We have Red Faction Armageddon, which unfortunately I have not kept up with Red Faction, but I have heard that the recent releases of Red Faction Armageddon and Red Faction Guerrilla offer a very nice amount of destructible environments in their gameplay, something I'm looking forward to trying out. Now, the next 3 games are actually, if you think about it, one game expanded. We're looking at Company of Heroes Opposing Fronts, and Company of Heroes Tales of Valor. Company of Heroes being the original, Opposing Fronts and Tales of Valor both being expansions, but they are standalone expansions that can be played by themselves. Company of Heroes is a game I have heard mentioned quite a bit, a RTS-style game that does not use the traditional base building that you might find in StarCraft, Warcraft, or Command & Conquer. It's a World War II themed game that uses battle lines and supply routes, and it's something that I'm definitely looking forward to playing. It is something I have thought about purchasing in the past. This gives me a reason to try it. Now, what do you get for your purchase of around $5.64 or more? Well, that would be Saints Row the Third, the high-profile game on this list, a game that I've heard is doing quite well for itself. And this is an excellent way to get that game on the cheap. As a matter of fact, this whole bundle is on the cheap. If we take a look at the individual prices of these games, we're looking at Darksiders at $19.99, Metro at $19.99. In fact, all of the games minus Company of Heroes, the original, are $19.99. So about $20 per game, with Company of Heroes being $10. Saints Row the Third is at $40 still on Steam. So without Saints Row, you're looking at about $110 altogether. With Saints Row, $150. Put that together with the soundtracks, because much like the other Humble bundles, this one also gives you digital soundtracks with high-quality audio where available, and the site lists everything altogether at about $190 value. So while I can't exactly give you a recommendation on this because I have not played these games, aside from playing Darksiders 2, I can tell you that all of them have sounded very good. Saints Row, actually, being able to get this for about under $6 is quite a deal. I have been avoiding the Saints Row series as I had basically thought of it as kind of a want-to-be Grand Theft Auto, and the first game may have just been that. However, I have heard very good things from Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3 as they start getting into their own style of things, and I've heard they are very excellent games indeed, so definitely worth looking into. In fact, if you've thought about any of these games at all, then this is an excellent deal. For at least $1, you get everything but Saints Row. And again, for under $6, you do get Saints Row thrown in there. Now keep in mind that other Humble Bundles have added more games in the future. Now typically those games get added to the beat the average price. So what I imagine they do is wait until they get the average to a certain number to kind of reward people. Say, here, now that you've beaten the average, here's more games that you can get for beating the average, and that kind of gets more people to go and get these bundles. So I'm looking forward to see what other THQ games might get into this bundle. Now, just like previous versions of the Humble Bundle, you can decide where your money goes. You can give everything to the publisher THQ, you can give everything to charity. If you want, you can just give everything to the Humble team because you want to support these kinds of releases. You can split that any way you choose, even getting down to how much you want to give to each of the 2 charities involved. This is a fantastic system. I've seen the Humble Bundles generate quite a bit of money for charity, and it's very nice to see. This one is particularly interesting because we're looking at THQ games rather than an indie bundle, and I can already tell you that this has generated a little bit of controversy. However, I would like to state on my opinion here that I really think that getting up in arms that this is not an indie bundle this time around, it is really just going too far, really. We're looking at a charity event here, and I think that is what the most important thing here is this is for charity. Now, the other thing is, too, that THQ is going through some serious financial issues. They're looking for additional backers to finance them so that they can continue development of games that they have. Now, keep in mind, whereas in previous Humble Bundle packages, the money you give to them goes directly to the developers. In this case, that's not true. It's going to the publisher, going to THQ, which means the money will not be going to some of the devs, especially since a lot of these devs have probably at this point either been let go, have retired, whatever. When you look at these games, there's no guarantee that any of these devs will see that money. So you're looking at supporting the publisher. Now, this time, it's one of those things where I'm going to go a little bit off the side here and say, I really think that's not such a bad thing. THQ generates a lot of great games, and I think the financial problems they're running across is very sad to see, because there are some games in development now, even including the South Park RPG that they are in charge of, that are getting pushed back because of these financial problems. I really hate to see a good company go down this way. So I'm really hoping that THQ will be able to recover, and this may be a way for them to do it. Now, unfortunately, also may not really matter. The amount of money that they have to deal with really may not be generated from this. But if we could slow the bleeding and maybe give them a little bit of support, I'm all for it. And again, the Humble Bundle, while it has typically been used as a platform for indie developers, and I'm all for that. I think indie developers need all the support they can get, especially since, well, the very nature of being an indie is that you do not have a publisher backing you. I think that's still an excellent system, and I think that they are still going to be doing that. I really don't think that this is showing a bad precedent of doing this. This is simply another way for them to get money out to charity, and they are kind of playing with the model of the Humble Bundle system to see what works and what people are willing to support. So the best way you can show your support is, of course, by letting them know or through your money. You can, if you don't like this system, hell, you could go out, put in your money for the games, give none of it to THQ, and if you even are upset about the bundle, give none of it to the bundle and just give it all to charity. That is your choice, absolutely. But I really think that this isn't such a big deal to get all up in arms. The indie dev community is still going to be supported, and they're still going strong with this. And matter of fact, Humble Indie Bundle 7 is slated to come out within a few weeks, according to the release video of the Humble THQ Bundle. So I'm very happy to see that, and of course I will be looking into that once that officially gets released. So again, go to humblebundle.com, take a look, see if you're interested, give some money to charity, get some awesome games. Now, if you have these games and you still want to support charity, go ahead. You can actually gift these games. You will simply just click a little checkbox at the bottom that says, I want to gift this. You get the codes, you send them to your friend. Viola, you're done. This is all done in Steam, so they can be downloaded at any time and can be redeemed from anywhere that they can access their Steam account. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is KageKaze. Once again, hoping to generate some sales for the guys, I think, at Humble Bundle that are doing an excellent job. I will continue to support their efforts as best I can. So hopefully you decide to do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next time.